Hey, I'm here with a list of demands. Follow the show wherever you listen. Subscribe, share, like, and comment on the show on YouTube. Follow any and all of my social media as well. All of the links are in the description. And finally, if you're a real fan, which most of you aren't, head on over to buymeacoffee.com, use the link in my description, and buy me a goddamn coffee. It supports the show, which is me. So you're supporting me. Now that you've successfully ignored that, go ahead and enjoy today's episode. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's Monday. I am exhausted talking to you motherfuckers. I had a pretty eventful weekend. Very irritating Friday night. And right now I sit here, Sunday night, fresh off of the Mohegan Sun assembly line of unskilled workers. They got skilled ones too, like engineering jobs and IT and, other things, I guess. Maintenance, right? That takes some kind of skill. That takes 30 minutes on YouTube, right? To learn how to unclog a toilet. Just about as much time as it takes a guy like me to learn how to ring in a food order. So it's all relative, right? So I want to tell you guys what happened to me on Friday night because it's a hilarious... I mean, those of you who have been listening to the show, and there's not many of you, those of you who have been listening to this motherfucker kind of understand where we're at with the theme of the show. We go off the rails sometimes. We do different stuff. But a lot of the shit that I talk about is steeped in some sort of cynicism, some sort of, I guess you could say, negativity. Maybe that's why nobody listens, because I come on here and I shit on everybody and everything, hoping that other people will resonate and want to listen to me. But as we know, that's rarely the case. Anyway, it's funny that that's kind of the underlying theme of the show, because it, of course, bleeds into my life sometimes. I've always said that the best art is created by an artist that's whose style is indicative of who they are as a person, right? And if you watch my stand-up, if you listen to this bullshit that I do with you right now, then you understand that it is a lot of the shit that I create. I try very hard to make it. I don't try to pander. I don't try to play to the masses. I do the things that are inherently creative to me. When I create, it goes this way or it goes that way, but it's never me trying to cater to certain audiences or any of that stuff. There's a market for everything, right? So I understand that. I wanted to preface this story by making sure that you understand that idea. The idea that what I do on here, when I'm being cynical, what I do on the stand-up stage, I don't know why I call it the stand-up stage. What I do on stage is it's very much who I am a lot of the time. And it's what's happened in my life. It's the motivator for the shit that I create. So, and it always happens. I can't escape it. It's comfortable at this point. Misery, pain, death, murder, dying. I love it all. Oh, by the way, the addiction's still going strong. The delicious Puff Bar addiction is still going strong. I wake up, my throat is dry. I cough hard. It's almost it's real scratchy, my throat, and I still hit it. I hit it real hard, and then I go in the bathroom and I shit blood. I did it like twice in the past 3 days. I should go see a doctor. I think I'm going to go see a doctor. But anyway, guys, so Friday, I was fresh off of a very good show on Thursday. Very fun show. I can't wait to do it again next month. I didn't know it was going to be a show. It was advertised as an open mic, but I wanted to go down was going to go do some new stuff, and then I show up, and it's a show. I mean, there's a headliner, Ace Aceto, who's been on here before, and I was very excited to do a set in front of him, show him that I've really been working hard and the whole thing. And, it was on a Thursday, and the lady hosting it, Poppy, was fucking awesome. She's been everywhere. Poppy Champlin, look her up. She's been all over the place. She's got credits for fucking days. She's awesome, and she really knows how to put together a show. But I showed up ready. I'm in sweatpants, black fucking sweatpants, a T-shirt, these fucking raggedy running shoes I work out in. I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to go do some new stuff, work some stuff out, whatever. And I get there, and there's an audience, like an actual audience. There's comics, but there's an audience, and they paid money, these people, $15 or whatever, $10 to get in. And I was like, wow, okay, this is a show. This is going to be good. Great room, beautiful, fucking awesome audience. They laughed. They had a great goddamn time. I got compliments on the set. So needless to say, at the end of it, we were all very happy. And then that kind of just bled into the day after. Things were going well, And we, everybody was very excited and the whole thing. So Friday morning, I wake up. I'm in a good fucking mood. Normally, on Fridays, I go to work in the daytime. I don't really make much money because it's fucking dead, right? Nobody's there. There's not really any sports going on in the daytime. And those of you who don't know, I work on a sports book, so if there's no sports, motherfuckers ain't coming in. Also, the kitchen was open. I'm sorry. I show up, and turns out the Yankees game is on, so it's bringing people in right in the afternoon, and I end up making some good money. I end up leaving with like $100 on a Friday in the afternoon, which is good. Right, it was a short shift. It was like 6 hours, and I left with $100, and I was feeling great, feeling very, very good. And after the shift, I hit all my boys up. I wanted to get as many of us as we can because I haven't drank in a little before this event. I haven't gotten drunk in a while, and I wanted to. I wanted to hang out with all the boys, all of them. I hit them all up, Larkin. My whole group chat, I hit them all up, and there was supposed to be like 5, 6, maybe even 7 of us. We're all going to go out and fucking have fun. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have fun. I was in a good mood, had a good show, made some decent money that day. I had a credit card bill that was, hanging over my head. I got rid of that. Not in the way I wanted to. I had to take money out of my savings. But we're just going to let it roll, right? Things are going good. Things are nice. So I hit them all up. I'm like, guys, we're going to get plastered. I'm coming to Providence. We're going to have a good time. I need to crash at someone's house. We're going to get fucked up till 2 a.m. We're going to go. Yeah. Good fucking time. So I get out of work. I get home. I take a quick shower. Oh, also, I forgot. I scheduled a podcast in between that time. I got out of work around 5. I scheduled a podcast around 7. And I was going to meet the boys around 9. So... doing a podcast is always fun. My buddy Robbie, who's been on the show, Robbie Cavaco, shout out. He's going to be releasing his podcast in January, I think he said. He's just kind of getting a backlog. He's doing it the right way. He didn't do it like me. Me, I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. Let's just do a podcast. He's doing it how you're supposed to. You get a big backlog, you release a bunch of them, and you get people excited, and then now you whatever. You come out with a bang. So I told him, I'm like, you want to do it today? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So I drive down to his place, which isn't far. It's about an hour away from me. I leave here about 6 o'clock. I go meet him at his place. And on the way there, a lady friend of mine wanted to know what I was doing that night. I said, I'm meeting the boys. I'm going to go meet the boys. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to be in Providence. I'm doing a podcast, whatever. So I pretty much turned down hanging out with a lady to go hang, because in my mind it was justified. I haven't seen, me and the guys haven't gotten real fucked up in a while, and that's what I wanted to do. So I meet my buddy, we do the podcast, he gets me a drink, he gives me a drink, it's a fucking stiff drink. Well, it tasted good, but it was a lot of booze in it. And we were chilling, smoking weed, doing the pod, which is always fun. I wish I had more time to do it with him. We'll do it again. But I wish I had more time to do it with him. We only went for about an hour, and I was kind of on a time restraint. But either way, I leave where he is. I'm about 20 minutes from Providence. I go pick up my buddy James. Me and James head on over to one of my favorite places in Providence, at least to start off the night, a bar called Rock and Rye. Now, Rock and Rye is it's a bar on a street known as Federal Hill, or Atwell's Ave, I should say, which is known as Federal Hill in Providence. It's the Little Italy of Providence. It's all Italian places, and then there's a couple like Lebanese hookah spots, Spanish, Hispanic, hookah spots, and then there's this bar called Rock and Rye, and it's got like a real fun young crowd. It's vibrant. The bartenders are usually pretty sexy. There's a bunch of stuff to do. There's games. There's good stuff, and there's good music. And it's a place where you can go where you don't have to, hey, let me get a cannoli. And you don't got to, or your other option is to go to a hookah bar and smell that shit. And you hear, Lebanese people talking to each other and rubbing grape leaves on their balls and, whatever the fuck they do, talking about their really expensive cars they get because they're oil magnates or whatever the fuck they do, right? They sell silk shirts in Providence Place Mall, whatever. Right? Whatever they do, you don't need to hear that shit. You don't need to hear just at super loud with blue lights in these other places. You don't need to hear it. Okay? When I go out, I don't know about you guys, but I want to know the songs that are playing. I want to be able to sing along. Isn't that the best part of going out? Drunkenly screaming the lyrics to songs that you know. Right? And you just grab your buddies, sing us a song, the piano man, sing us a song, Lord. That's what you do. You go outside, you smoke cigarettes, you look at the people walking by, you talk to your buddies. God damn, that bitch had a fat ass, And that's what you do. That's what you do at this place, and it's fun. That's what I like. I love going to Spanish places and dancing, and as long as you can find a lady friend to do it with. But when you don't know the lyrics, you're at a great disadvantage, in my opinion. For my game, for what I do, I'm able to wrap people up into having a good time, and singing along is a big part of it. Singing along to the music is a big part of it, getting everyone behind the vibe, and that's tough to do when you don't know this. So that's why I go to Rock and Rye. Rock and Rye is cool. It's a chill vibe, and there's a crowd around my age. That's the other thing. All the other places, there's people that are my age. But there's also a lot of old fucking ginzos walking around with hairy chests and women whose faces have been stapled. They pull all the skin back to the back of their head and they tie it up in a ponytail, The skin, not their hair. Hold on, I got to check my phone quick. Anyway, so I like Rock and Rye. Rock and Rye is a good place. They got a new one in Boston. None of that really matters, but I wanted to tell you that this is a go-to spot for me. It's a good place to start. Sometimes you do the whole night in there. There was one night, I tell everybody this, I vomited in the women's bathroom. Nothing that important, but I like to say it. I like to say, did you know that I vomited in the women's bathroom in this place? Anytime I bring my friends, I say, did you know that? Did you know that one time I was so drunk and so inebriated that I went into the women's bathroom and vomited in the toilet? I didn't even bend over. I stood and I said, "Bot!" Just like it was straight. It was like a free throw, And I may have made a little bit of a mess, but not the mess that you would think that a sloppy drunk guy who's not even bending over to vomit in the toilet I just tilted my head down, just tilted it down, and just blah 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 blah. And that was a night I could have got some really good cha-cha, some really good punan, but I was in. That's a night I think about very often. When I'm laying in my bed, squeezing my sausage, looking at the ceiling, saying, "Damn, I fucked up that night." That's the night that I think about always. But anyway, I pick up my buddy James around 9:00, and we head over to Rock and Rye, and we get there right around the same time as another friend who's been on the show, Johnny, not Larkin. I see him later on. Johnny Mann, the photographer. He showed up at the perfect time. Things are working perfectly. I got to say this to you guys, that things are working perfectly. I made money at work. I'm on time. I get to my buddy's crib at 7. We finish around 8:30. I pick my buddy up for 9. Everything is going according to plan and schedule. I even got some nasty fucking Wendy's. This past week, I ate like a fat pig, guys. I just got to tell you. I know, like a couple weeks ago, I was talking about David Goggins and the whole thing, and I still hold that ethos. I'm still trying, But this past week, I fucked off quite a bit. I got some work in. I got some runs and some some bag punching. And at the beginning of the week, I was deathly fucking sick from allergies. You know, I couldn't even breathe out of my fucking throat. But what am I even getting at here? Anyway, time went well, right? Johnny met us at the exact same time at Rock and Rye. And we're drinking, you know, we're hanging out, we're doing good, we're sitting outside. And then one of my best friends in the whole world, one of the funniest fucking people I've ever met who's been on this show, Chris Sandberg, he showed up. Now, he rarely comes out. He's in the group chat. He rarely even says anything. The motherfucker is my age, but he is as mature and as adult as any of us. Unless you're hanging out with him. Then he's, you know, a fucking goofball. But he gets his shit done. He's got a kid. He's pretty much got a wife. You know, they have a real nice life together. They are, you know, in your friend group, you look at everybody and you see their paths in this whole thing, and one of them you're like slightly jealous about, not super jealous, but you're like, man, that kid, he's doing good, and he's the one, right? He's the one in my friend group where I look at and I'm like, he's doing good. He's got a good job, a job he doesn't mind working. He doesn't bitch. He doesn't complain about it like I do. He you know, he's got a girlfriend that he loves, soon to be wife, I'm sure, and he's got a kid. He's got a kid, and he took it all in stride, where the rest of us would be shitting our fucking pants, and he's in a good position to do those things. Now, he shows up, and he rarely shows up, especially to go out and drink. Usually, I meet up with him, we smoke, we bullshit, whatever, but he came out to drink with us, and I was like, nice. This is awesome. This motherfucker's coming out, and he's hilarious. He's so fucking funny. And we're all hanging out. We're having a good time. We're dealing with fucking, you know, drunk assholes, right? There was this one kid, Justin, who wouldn't shut the fuck up, wouldn't stop talking about James's voice. You know, sometimes you tolerate it, right? And this kid was teetering. He was teetering on the brink of getting head kicked in front of all his friends, to, you know, between that and being civil, because he was annoying the living shit out of me. Can I just say this? I went on a raid about meter maids the other day and how they're the bottom of the barrel. If you're an annoying drunk, if you're someone who gets drunk and gets annoying, I mean, I wouldn't mind if all of you guys got together and went into a room where they released a very poisonous gas, a gas that would make you bleed out of every pore in your body. And it would be painful. It would burn. Every pore in your body would burn. That's what I want. If you're a person that gets annoying when you're drunk, I mean, hang yourself. Hang yourself in front of your mother. Knock on the door. Say, hey, mom, real quick. I need you to come in here in 10 minutes. I got a surprise for you. Go up there, tie the fucking noose, stick your head in it, make sure it fits, kick yourself off the chair, struggle for 2 seconds. In fact, pull your dick out. Pull your dick out. Hold it in your hand. Make your mom think that not only were you a suicidal person, you're also a disgusting creep. Put some gay shit on your laptop, right? Put that on. Make it look like you killed yourself by autoerotic asphyxiation while you were watching gay porn. Put that on, please. That would make me and live stream it. All of you who have found out that you are an annoying drunk. I don't know how you can be annoying. I get it. Drinking does different things to people, but if you're annoying, it's not for you. It's not for you. Smoke some weed. It'll calm you down. If you're annoying, how do you drink something that makes everybody else either chill or angry or funny? You got annoying. You should just hang out with your buddies and annoy them. Talk to them. Talk to those fucking guys. Don't come over here and start bullshitting with us. Do it for 5 minutes. Fucking 7 at max. This motherfucker was here for 15 minutes talking. Like, shut the fuck up. We don't. And the other thing that they do is they say, well, I'm going to leave you alone. I don't mean to ruin your night. And you're trying to be nice. No, you're fine. And it invites him back. And this motherfucker said it so many times. We were just so fucking annoyed with him. But luckily, things didn't escalate because I was about ready to curb stomp this fucking guy. Aside from that, we're having fun. We're still having fun, even when we're fucking with that guy. We're still having fun. We're having a good time. We're drinking. By this point, we're drunk. I don't know about Sandberg. He doesn't drink much. He had 1 drink, but he brought a weed pen for us. So we're mixing. We're having a good time. We're outside. We're talking. So we all decide. I've been talking now. At this point in the night, it's probably around 11:30, and Rock and Rye is kind of dead. Right? It might even been 11.
or maybe a little before that. Doesn't really matter. I'm trying to give you guys a sensible timeline here. Let's say 10:45, okay, just to make things easy. Around this time, we're like, all right, let's go to a different spot. So Larkin, he hits me up and he says that he's going to go to Parlor, or the Parlor, which is this little dumpy bar in Pawtucket. Now, for those of you that don't know, Pawtucket is one of the shittiest towns in Rhode Island. Okay, John just happens to know the bartender, someone that he's friends with. I think it might have been a woman, and that's probably why he was there. He wanted to go and see what the fuck he could do with that, and it's understandable. I got no problem with that. I personally didn't want to go there. I didn't want to. I wanted to go somewhere else, downtown, a little more lively, a little nicer areas. And if you're downtown and the place sucks, you can just walk somewhere, or everywhere's close, So I really wasn't for it. But then Kevin, who's also been on the show, Mr. Yeppies, was hanging out with his brother in Providence. And I hit him up, and I'm like, "Are you guys coming out?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna meet John at wherever the fuck he's going." So I'm like, "Okay, I guess we do need to go to the Parlor." So that's what we do. We all decide. We're like, okay, against our will, really. We didn't want to, but I wanted to get everybody together. At least we'd all be together. And I'm like, yeah, I guess we're gonna go to the Parlor. So Sandberg took his car. Noli took his car, or Johnny Man. His name's Cannoli, so I'm going to refer to him as Noli the rest of this conversation. He took his car, and then me and James went to my car. And we get in my car, we sit down, we're laughing the whole time. We're drunk. We're having a good time. And yes, we're drunk. I was getting ready to get behind the wheel of my car and drive, something I've done many a time. It's fun, guys. It's fun. Fuck what they tell you on the TV. Fuck what they say about, fuck MAD. Right? Mothers Against Drunk Driving. When they were young, they were doing the same thing. The only reason that they have this thing, MAD, the only reason they have this organization is because their son or their kid was a stupid fuck and they died in a car crash. They died in a drunk car crash. Now, if your kid was drunk with the person that was driving, then, it's fair game. If your kid was sober or sober enough or the most sober and he got in a car and this person, or they were completely sober and they got killed by a drunk driver, now you want to go ahead and make a coalition and a whatever. But when you were a young girl in college or in high school or in your mid-20s and you and your girls went out and you had a couple of Cosmos and you danced all night, maybe you went home with a man, or you didn't, and you drove. You had a great time. You probably went to family parties with your husband and your kids, and you got plastered and still drove home. You still did it, okay? So the only reason any of that exists is because your kid died. If that wasn't the case, you'd probably be drinking Scorpion Bowls with the girls on Thursdays, going to Wine and Paint, and fucking, whatever the fuck else that you want to do, going to a hookah bar, and you'd be fine, and you'd come stumbling into your house, and your son would be looking at you, "Mom, why do you drink so much?" "Fuck you." And then the next day, your kid was on the way to school, and some drunk guy, drunk at 10 in the afternoon, went and murdered your kid. So now you feel bad. You feel bad about it. So you go ahead and you get all the other moms that something like this happened to, and you start a little coalition, and you take away the fun from the rest of us responsible drunk drivers. That's all it is. That's all you did. That's probably, I could be wrong. I'm probably not. But that's probably what it is, okay? Let's just be honest here. Let's get it out in the open. Drinking and driving is great. It's so fun. It's like a video game. It's so good. I will say, though, there are a couple times where I was like, wow, this is probably bad. There were times where I was nervous. This past 4th of July, not 4th of July, St. Patty's Day, this past one, I was probably the drunkest I've ever been behind the wheel, and I was very. That one was bad. That one was bad, and I typically don't do it often, but when I do, I have a very good time. There's another time again on St. Patty's Day, the year before that. Oh no, a couple years, 2020, St. Patty's Day. It was like a week before everything shut down from COVID. It was the last hurrah. We all got hammered in Newport, Rhode Island, and Newport is about an hour from Providence. And I had to drive us home, and I don't remember looking out the windshield once. Isn't that good? But anyway, yes, we were getting in the car, and I grabbed my car keys, or I grabbed my keychain out of my pocket, and no key. I got the thing to unlock the car. I got all the other keys, key to my apartment, keys that I don't even know what the fuck they are anymore. How do you guys clean? Again, I keep digressing, but how do you guys get rid of keys on your keychain? I have so many keys on my keychain. I don't even know what they go to. I want to get rid of them. I have such a big chain of keys that I just, it's a fucking pain in the ass. I don't know which ones go where. I know a couple of them, but the rest, it's like, do I need it? Do I not need it? I don't know. Long story short, we're in the car. No short. I got an hour to tell you motherfuckers this. We're in the car, and I pick my keys out of my pocket. No fucking key. And I start grabbing the fuck out of my keys. Where is it? Where is it? It's not on here. It's not on here. And I start looking at James. I'm like, my key's gone. I have no fucking idea where my key is. So I'm like, all right. I'm not negative yet. I'm not upset yet. I'm like, it's got to be somewhere. It's got to be near my car. That's what I'm thinking. The key needs to be around my car, because why would I have my key out if we're not near my car, right? I mean, there's a chance I took him out of my pocket when we were down the street, but we get to that later on. So first we start. We look all around the car, all over, up, down, inside, outside, fucking under the seats. I'm moving things. I'm throwing things. I'm looking around the car, the outside of the car, we're using flashlights. We're looking under the tires, the whole thing. Nowhere. I'm like, okay, we're going to have to retrace our steps. So we walk from the car back to Rock and Rye. Entire time looking at the ground. Looking at the ground the whole time with my flashlight on. And in my head, I'm like, we're going to find it. We're going to find it. Remember, things were going good. Things were going very good. We're going to go to the next spot. We're going to meet up with the rest of us, with the rest of our crew. It's going to be great. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay, we're going to be good. And if it's not on the ground, I probably left it. It fell off the chain at Rock and Rye. I'll ask people. We'll be good. So we're walking. I'm looking, and there's fucking nothing. James is looking. Neither of us find it. It's a black key, and it's nighttime. There's leaves all over the ground. There's grass. It would blend in so easily. So we're walking down the street, and we get to Rock and Rye. I go to the bouncer, my man Ali, very cool guy. And I go, hey, man, have you seen a key anywhere out here? Did anybody turn in a key to you? He goes, nah, man, go ask the bar. I said, okay. I go to the bar. I ask. I say, hey, guys, did anybody turn in a key? Now I'm sober, okay? Now I'm stone sober. Not stone sober because I had been drinking, but I'm sober. I'm sober. I'm in the right frame of mind. I could drive, right? I could drive before, right? I mean, we were going to find out. But I could drive even better now. I could do anything now, right? Just anything that, whatever, because now I'm worried. I'm on high alert. I want to find my key. And I ask the the bartender, I say, hey man, have you found any keys? And he goes hold on. And he goes into a bucket. And I think it's his tip bucket or whatever. And he's digging. He's moving things out of the way. And he pulls keys out. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. It's the nuance of this story. It is the nuance of this story that adds to the narrative of my life. The narrative of murder, death, kill, which is what we've established the theme of this show to be. If you remember so many episodes back, murder, death, killism is the belief of this show. It's its own philosophy. So this is what it is. And he pulls out a set of keys from somebody else. Somebody else left their keys at Rock and Rye, and it wasn't mine, okay? And he pulls them out, and I look at them, and I know it's not mine. I know for sure it's not because it is a chain of keys. I only lost my one key, but I want to be hopeful. I want to be positive, God damn it. I want it to be my keys, but I know it's not. I know it's not my keys because it is an entire fucking chain. But I look and I pretend, I squint, I turn my head, I go, no, that's not it. That's not the one. I wanted to believe it, guys. I wanted to believe it. Give me 1 second. Not to divert from the story here. I wanted to believe that those are my keys. This was the last moment of positivity for almost the entire night, pretty much the entire night. And he goes back in the bucket and he starts digging. Nothing. I almost took those keys and started walking around and just pressing the unlock button to see if I could find the car whose it was so we could get on with the night. But I did not do that. I walked around the whole place. I went to the bathroom where I thought maybe it fell out of my pocket. I went to where we were sitting. I went outside. I went all over. And I walked back to the car, retracing my steps with a vague veil of positivity, slowly being clouded by the black clouds of pessimism. And I'm walking, and me and James, again, retracing our steps, looking around. Nothing. No key anywhere. We're walking places we didn't even walk. On the other side of the street where we didn't even walk, we're looking. We're walking over the same spots, back and forth. I'm looking through the car again. We're triple checking everything. Nothing. Now, I'm an hour from where I live. Okay? I'm in Providence, Rhode Island. I live in New London, Connecticut. How the fuck am I going to get home? What the fuck am I going to do? Even if I could sleep over tonight, I have work at 11 in the morning on Saturday. What the fuck am I going to do? I start thinking in my head. I'm like, I look at buses, impossible. It was a few, again, very vague, a thin veil of positivity, just trying to grasp onto something. I look at buses, nothing. Trains, even less. Okay? I start to think in my head, I'm going to have to walk home. I don't know how long it'll take to walk home, but I might have to walk back to New London and get my spare key, go to work, come back here on Saturday, pick my car up if it's there still, right? Because I owe a bunch of tickets in Providence, and there's a chance that there could be a boot on my car when I get back. I run the risk every time I go to Providence. Anytime I park my car in Providence, I run the risk of getting towed or getting a boot or whatever the fuck those bullshit meter maids do after you haven't paid hundreds of dollars in tickets. Because fuck you and fuck them. I don't live there anymore. I'm not worried about it. I'm only getting further and further away. Now I am at a point where I am absolutely consumed by horrible thoughts, right? Things are bad. I'm barely drunk now. I'm sitting there with my buddy who needs a ride home, essentially, right? James needs his ride home. And he goes, "What about AAA?" I go, how could I forget AAA? Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, AAA, I mean, you live super far. That's going to be a lot of money, that tow. Oh, I'm sorry. I also looked at Ubers, $70 back to New London, and I'd have to take another Uber back, $70. It would have been $140 for Ubers, and I wasn't going to pay that. I'm broke. I made like $100. I didn't want it to go to Ubers, so I was prepared to walk. I was mentally preparing myself to walk hours and hours and hours back to New London, Connecticut. And James goes, "What about AAA? Do you have AAA?" And I go, "Yes, I do. And my mom got me a Premier membership, which means I have a free tow up to 200 miles. I said, "Oh, okay, this is good. This is a good thing. Yes, we can't leave the area. We can't meet up with our boys. That sucks. But at least I can get my car back home And also, I should add that I didn't know whether or not I had a spare. So I was like, there's a glimmer of hope here, but it immediately got washed over by the tsunami of misery because I didn't know whether or not I even had a spare at home. I'm like, that's going to cost me money to get. Those of you who've lost a car key know that that shit is expensive. It's well over $100, right? Even if all you have is the key. I have an old 2007 car. 2007 Impala. It's the key is just a basic key, but because it's a car key, it's going to cost me a bunch more money. So I'm fortunate of the fact that my mother helped me out in this sense, and she got me this premier membership for me, my brother, herself, and my dad. I don't know what it costed her, but thank you very much, Mom, because you saved my ass. I should call her and tell her that because she doesn't listen to this motherfucker. God, no. She would hate me. If my mother listened to this show, she would have such a disdain for the person that she raised. But thankfully, she remains blissfully ignorant, okay? Thankfully, that's the case. Because if she knew who I was as a person, like actually, she'd be disgusted. So I call AAA, right? And I tell them that I'm stuck. I have no fucking key. I need a ride home. I didn't have my AAA card on me, the premium membership one. So I said, I think I'm under my mom's thing. And he's like, all right, we can take care of that. We can look for you. I'm like, okay, things are looking up again. This is good. And he goes, it's going to be, it's free, the whole thing. We can take care of you. We'll bring you back to Connecticut. But it's because of how far you are, it's going to be a little while. It's going to be, we're probably going to come around, he tells me, 2:15. So I'm like, okay, it's midnight. 2:15 isn't too bad. The bars serve booze till 10. We can't leave the area. So fuck it. Fine. That's fine. I say 2:15, cool. We'll go back to drinking. Me and James will be fine. We'll be good. Now, this wasn't, my body language wasn't showing that, right? Because again, I was overcome by murder, death, kill. I was overcome by this inconvenient situation because of how well everything was going before. Things were going so good that when the worst possible thing that could happen happens, it's way worse. Now, mind you, this whole time, my buddies are calling me, hey, man, where you going? Where are you? What's happening? And I'm telling Johnny Cannoli, I lost my key. Oh, no, man. What fuck, dude? And he's super, distraught about it. It sucks. He's like, I can bring you back to your parents. I'm like, no, that's not going to help me at all. But thank you. Thank you for the thought. That's not going to help me in any way. My buddy Chris, he says the same thing. What can I do to help you, man? I want to help you. What do you need me to do, bro? And I'm like, there's really not much you can do. You'd have to drive me an hour back to Connecticut and then an hour back here. I'm not going to make you do that. And I shouldn't, right? That shouldn't be the case. And I would feel bad if either of them said, I'll do that. I would feel super bad, and I'd have to pay them some kind of money in my mind. So, and Larkin, he's hitting me up. Find it, motherfucker. Find your key. I'm like, yeah, I fucking tried. I can't. The thing is gone. It's fucking nighttime. The key is black. We're drunk. It could be fucking anywhere in the street. Someone was probably walking. They might have kicked it by accident, and the motherfucker's gone, bro. I don't know where it is. And AAA says 2:15. I'm like, that is not bad, okay? That's the best news I've heard in the past 45 minutes of me going through this fucking nonsense that's happening. When, mind you, I could have stayed home. I could have stayed where the fuck I am right now and had a lady friend come over. We could have had a fun night, and that would have been the end of it. It would have been fine. It would have been just as good as hanging out with my buddies. Better, actually. Better, obviously. Better than hanging out with we'll say better. So, 2:15, not bad. I say, James, I'm still miserable as fuck, but James, we have till 2. You're going to need to get an Uber home or something or get a ride. But they're going to be here at 2:15. He goes, okay. so what do you want to do till then? I say, well, we might as well go back to the bar. So we go back to Rock and Rye, and now there's a bunch of people in there. It's a lot of people in there, but I don't care. I don't care at all. I'm heated. I barely even want to drink. I'm sitting there with just him. We're both fucking, he's upset because I'm upset, and we're kind of just looking at our phones. I barely even wanted to drink. I just needed somewhere to be because I didn't want to sit in my car or sit outside or whatever. And we sit down, just us two, our friends are fucking wherever else they are. And James goes ahead and buys us around, and then I go back to buying my own drinks, and because he felt shitty about the situation, you know. And we're sitting there drinking, still quiet, still on our phones, not really doing anything. Big group of girls sat down next to us. I didn't fucking say a word to them. I wasn't interested at the moment. I was just fucking upset. I was very upset with the way the night turned out and what I turned down. What I turned down for this night in hopes of it being a fun fucking time. So we're sitting there, and I look outside, and it is a bunch of Casarino's people. For those of you that don't know what Casarino's is, if you haven't been listening to the show very often, I used to work at a restaurant right down the street from Rock and Rye on Federal Hill called Casarino's. James works there now, so he knows those people too. And I worked there for a long time, and they all, not all of them, but a bunch of them showed up. They were outside. I pointed to them. I said, yo, what up? And they all came in. I got a call on the phone from a Rhode Island number, and I picked it up, and it was a guy from AAA. And he said, hey, just letting you know, because of how far your ride is and how, whatever, it's late, there's an abundance of calls, whatever the fuck he said. He goes, we're not going to be around until 4 or 5 a.m. And that's when they pull up, okay? That's when they pull up. Forget about hooking the car up and whatever and any other fucking stupid thing that they have to do. 4 or 5 a.m. They're not going to be around till then. So that happens. So now now they're just twisting the knife, okay? The knife was already in. Now they're just twisting it, and they're committing fucking seppuku, where they fucking stab you. You stab yourself in the stomach and you slide across. They're sliding across now, okay? And I'm like, whatever. I have no fucking option. Cool. Then I started drinking fast. I got another gin and tonic. I sucked that fucker down quick. I got another one. And then the cast people came in, and now I'm drunk again and feeling a little bit better, you know. I'm able to make a couple more jokes and the whole thing, and I'm lightening up a little. I've accepted the situation, guys. I have accepted my situation, what the deal is, and what the fuck is happening going forward. So, Rock and Rye closes, okay? It's 2 a.m. Everybody's got to get the fuck out. No more booze. It's 2 a.m. Everybody's outside. The rest of the cast people are outside. Everyone's talking, whatever. I still have 2 hours, okay, in my mind. At least 2 hours, maybe 3. I'm hungry, okay? I walk away. James actually gets a ride with one of his coworkers from Cass, and she hooks it up. Good for him. And I walk down the street to this fucking dumpy pizza place that's right next to Casarino's called Cecilia's, and I go in there and I order a fucking steak and cheese sandwich and a slice of cheese pizza because I want to eat while I wait because I'm a fat fucking drunk pig, and a Powerade, you know, electrolytes. You gotta be ready. So I go ahead and I eat my pizza. I wait for my sandwich, and I walk out. And now it's getting a little closer to 3. It's like 2:40, 2 something, right? 2:30. And I get another call, and I'm on my way back to my car. And they say, we're going to be there around 3:15, 3:30. I said, okay, cool. That's a little bit better. We got bumped up. That's okay. It's less time, right? It's less time. By the time I get to my car, I can eat this sandwich. I can watch stupid videos on my phone. And before I know it, they'll be here. Cool. Guy pulls up at like right around that time, 3 something. He calls me. But mind you, I completely forgot to add this part in. Now, while I'm at Cecilia's, or it might have been while I was at Rock and Rye and they were closing. I hit my buddy John up. I said, "Hey John, there's a chance, or is there any chance I could hang out with you while I wait for AAA to come?" Because at this point, I still thought it was going to be 4 a.m. When, I didn't want to sit in my car the whole time. I thought it was going to be between 4 and 5. Can I at least chill with you? Because I can't start my car, don't have any heat, whatever. He's like, yeah, cool. So now I'm in my car, fast forward again, I'm eating, and John calls me up. Now he's hammered because he forgot to let me know. He said he was going to let me know when he was back at his house, and he forgot. And he gives me a call, and he says, yeah, man, come on over. He's like, you never found your keys? I'm like, no, keys fucking gone. He goes, okay, and I go to his house, and he's super persistent about it. He's drunk, but this is just the type of person he is in general. And he goes, yeah, we can find your key, man. We could totally find your key. I'm like, dude, the key is gone. At this point in the night, it's 3 in the morning. I'm not worried about the fucking key. My car's parked right down the street from his house. I'm not worried about the key. I'm just waiting for this fucking AAA guy. I'm hoping that I can get back to my place, get some sleep before work, and hopefully I have a key at my house. If not, I'm going to have to wake up extra early, take a bus, and fucking blow my brains out is what I'm going to do. So I'm upset at this point. I've eaten. I'm still a little drunk, but now I'm alone. So I'm alone with my devices, and I'm fucking angry. And I'm irritable, every fucking bad word that describes a negative situation, a negative mindset. That's where I am at this point in time as I sit in this kid's house at 3 o'clock in the morning. And he goes, no, dude, we can find it. And there's 2 other guys, friends of mine, Raph, one of them, been on the show, and another friend. And they're like, no, we can find it, dude. I'm telling you. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm going to go outside because I'm getting texts from AAA. They're on the way. They're almost here. Whatever. You guys can do whatever the fuck you want. So we go outside, and John has a big flashlight, like a real bright one, like an industrial fucking flashlight. And Raph has got a headlamp on. The other kid's got a light on his phone, and they're walking. They're looking all over. He's like, it's got to be somewhere, dude. It's got to be somewhere. And they're walking, and yada, yada, yada. And they're walking down the street. I'm like, oh, fucking idiots, right? In my head, I'm like, these guys are fucking, what the fuck are they doing? They're going to come back with nothing. And I see AAA. I see the big flatbed truck driving down the street. He's calling me, and he drives right past me. And I'm like, hey, and I'm trying to get his attention. And then he calls me, and he goes, yeah, man, I don't know where you are. And I'm like, I'm behind you. I'm waving you down. And he goes, oh, okay. Again, big flatbed truck. He's got to go all the way down the street, turn around, and come back and meet me. As he drives away, Larkin and the 2 other guys come running down other guys. That's just what your names are. Larkin's the star of this event. And he comes running. They're all running. And I'm like, this motherfucker. He goes, I found it. He found my key, guys. He found my black key in the night in a patch of grass, drunk, at 3:30 in the morning, okay? He comes running down the street. He says, hey, I found your key. I found it. I said, oh, my fucking God. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. And I really did say thank you, and I was super thankful. And I'm like, but listen, this tow is free. I don't want to drive home. It's almost 4 in the morning. I don't want to drive home, so this guy's going to take me home. And he goes, oh, I thought we were saving you money. And I'm like, you are kind of. I might not have a spare, so you are, helping me out, but the tow is free. And and the guy pulls up at the same time, so I go out loud. I go, yeah, man, fucking key's gone. I don't know. And Larkin's like, yeah, I hate when that happens. And Raph's like, well, we tried. We tried. And they just walk back to their place. I put my key in my pocket, didn't put it back in the chain. And the story doesn't really end there, okay? Now, my car is parked, it's stuck, and I know in my head that I have my key, but I don't want to drive home. I don't want to let this motherfucker know, okay? He came out 3:30, and he's supposed to be clocked out at 5 a.m. He's not going to get back to... He drops me off in New London at 5 a.m., okay? This guy came out. I had to wait, okay? I had to wait hours. I called them at 12 at night. I had to wait over 3 hours for this motherfucker to show up. He's taking me home, okay? He's taking me the fuck home. I'm doing it out of spite at this point. And it bites me in the ass because there's a car that's parked not too far in front of me, so he can't get his big fucking long AAA bed in between my car and this car. Now, I have the key, okay? I have the key. I can just turn the car on and move it, and he could put it on the thing. But if I turn the car on, he knows that I have my key. He'll drive off, and I have to drive home, which I don't fucking feel like doing. And because at this point, I'm drunk and I'm tired. Not a good mix if you want to drive. You want to drive drunk, drive drunk. You want to drive tired, drive tired. You can't do both, okay? Driving tired is worse than driving drunk. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. But if it's both, that's not good. And I was annoyed, okay? So that's a bunch of fucking adjectives you don't want when you're behind the wheel of a car. And it's late. So, now the move is to find a way to move this fucking car. And there's, I don't know what the term is, but there's a button in every car, maybe not the new ones, probably in the new ones too. It's where the shift is. And you got to press it. It's like a lever or a button, and you press it, and it allows you to shift the car without it being on. So he needs to put it in neutral. I tell him where it is, but he can't find it. I can't find it either. I had to use it years ago. My shifter got stuck one time. I had to bring it to the mechanic. It was $400. But he told me that this is where it is. And I didn't remember. It had been years since I had to use it. So I gave him the general area. Now it's cold as a motherfucker outside, okay? It's 4 a.m. We're in the middle of the street. It's fucking, there's garbage trucks for whatever reason driving down the street. So this guy's got to move every couple minutes. There's cars driving. He's got to move out of their way. It's just taking a long time, and there's lights flashing. I felt bad for the people who lived in the area because all you hear is the tow truck. You know people woke the fuck up. You know that's what happened. And I wasn't the only one that had work in the morning. So lights are flashing, and this guy, and it's another 30 minutes before he's even able to move my car far away enough so that he could hook it up to his fucking bed. Finally, he finds it. He moves the car back. He had to rip a whole bunch. He put it back, but he had to rip the top of the middle console out to find the button. He finally moves it, and then now it's another 15 minutes. So it's like 45 minutes before this guy, before I can get in his truck and drive the fuck off with him. And it's cold the entire time. And now I finally get in the car. We get back, or he's taking me home. Kind of a weird guy, not the weirdest. I didn't mind talking to him. He really loved his job at AAA. Good for him, you know. I could make jokes, but I'm not going to. At this point in time, I was fortunate that he was a decent fucking guy, and he was really helping me out. He was helping me out big time. AAA was helping me out big time. My mother was looking out for me, and I get home. I get to New London, and it is 5:15 in the morning. Now, mind you, on Friday I was supposed to go to New York City and do a show, but I didn't have enough people to show up for me to go up. So I ended up canceling that. But if I had gone to New York, I probably wouldn't get back to my place until 8 in the morning, roughly, right? Maybe even later. So I'm thinking in my head, 5 isn't the worst when I have work at 11. You know, I'll be up for a little bit and then I'll fall right asleep. But it is fucking 5:15 in the morning. I run upstairs. I pretend to grab my key, my spare. And he drops my car off, and that was it, guys. I went and I parked my car. I walked up to this fucking shit box that I live in, plopped my fat, sloppy ass onto the bed, and I went to sleep. Woke up, went to work, worked 8 hours, made $140. In 8 hours, guys, that is dog shit as a server. Just letting you know. 8 hours, you make $140 in one of the biggest casinos in the world, not just the country, but in the world, one of the biggest fucking casinos in the world, working in the biggest sports book in the East Coast, okay? and I made $140, and and that was it. And I came home. I tried to stay up and watch the boxing on Saturday. I made a bet that I actually won. Shout out Deontay Wilder, KOing the guy in one round. I bet that motherfucker. Won a little bit of change. And that was it. Okay, I went to bed. But I wanted to tell you guys that story, not only because it's funny, not only because it's funny to laugh at other people's pain, especially mine, because there is a lot of it. I just wanted to say that story to you guys to show you that when I'm on here being cynical, when I'm on here saying some of the wildest, most, I guess, pessimistic or negative or fucked up, when you hear me say fucked up things, guys, it's because parts of my life, not the entire thing, a lot of my parts of my life are these situations. Things like that, okay? How fucking ironic can you get that as soon as AAA is pulling up to my car, my key is found magically, okay? It's the nuance in the story. Think about it, guys. I turned down being with a lady friend to go do that, okay? To go do that. When we were looking for the key originally, this guy pulled out someone else's keys. Okay? And then the fucking icing on the cake is finding the key exactly as AAA is pulling up. And yes, you can look at the other positive sides of it, right? Where your friends from Casarinos pulled up and said hi. But when you got an idea of something, this is where I go back to expectations and how they are the destroyer of everything that is good and holy. How expectations are, it's very Buddhist to not have expectations, right? And that's something that I agree with. I agree with the Tao when it comes to that. That expectations will fuck with you guys. It will fuck with you. So just know that next time that you plan a fun night out, a bunch of shit could go sideways. Just be cognizant of it. Don't think about it like I do. I wasn't thinking about it that night at all. I wasn't thinking about one bad thing happening. Not one bad thing, guys. Things were going so well for me over the past couple days that I was just excited. I was excited. Nothing bad was going to happen. If it was the beginning of the week, right, when I didn't have that show that kept me high on Friday, and I didn't make that money on Friday that kept me going, and I didn't do that pot. Let's just say it was the beginning of the week. I wouldn't have been as surprised, I guess. I may not have been as mad. I may have just kind of shrugged it off like I normally do with shitty things and make a joke about it. Oh, I lost my keys, whatever, let's go drink. Immediately. Okay, I wouldn't have even stressed about it. But because I was feeling good and I was ready to go, I was going to have a good time. Going to have a good time with the fellas. Didn't happen. And that's why it was so much more painful when the bad happened. So, funny story, I think. Ha, ha, ha. In retrospect, it's funny because John was like, well, it'll be a funny story. And I was so upset at that point. I was like, no, it won't be. It won't be a funny story. Not even a little bit. Not even a little funny. And as I'm sitting here telling it to you guys, it's really still not that funny to me. But maybe you guys will say, good, serves that fucking dickless prick right. Losing his key, going through all that shit, missing out on some cha-cha. All for that. All for that. Well, that being said, guys, thank you for listening. This was like an hour-long story. You know, I was really able to drag this fucker out. Hopefully you listen to the whole thing. It's the way things go sometimes. I'll be staying in for a little while now. I'm actually going to go see Ron White at the end of this week, which is going to be fun. But as far as, going out and doing things, not happening. I need to hop back on the horse. Last week was a bit of a back step between being sick at the beginning of the week and fucking, you know, just slumping myself and not staying to a good schedule. I got to get back on the horse this week and keep the consistency going forward, baby. So we got Comedy Connection this Sunday. Come check it out if you want. I think I have my amount of people showing up. It's going to be a great show. Comedy Connection is a great club. People show up to laugh. It's small, 100 seats, something like that. Very, very fun. And then November 17th, we're doing Revival Brewing, or Brewery in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Hopefully we can get some more dates in there. I contacted a booker today about maybe a couple more dates in November and December. And I think that's it, motherfuckers. Thank you for listening. I am exhausted. I'm happy I had a topic to kind of just roll with today and bang this motherfucker out for you guys. So thank you for listening. Talk to you on Thursday. Peace.
Oh, me again. Follow the show. Subscribe on the YouTube. Buy me a coffee. Use the links. Bye-bye.